June is the month Higurashi takes place in. That's wonderful. We shall begin. Did we read the tips? I don't remember. Probably did. Yeah, we did. How you feeling? I feel okay. I feel okay. I'm nervous. At first, I thought it was a dream. I was staring at this strange sheet, not really understanding what it was. That was all. I didn't go after it, nor did I ridicule it. The fact was, the boring view was the ceiling of my own room, but I didn't realize that for a fairly long time. Yes, thought I had been dreaming. I had actually been staring at the ceiling the whole time. Lethargy induced by the voices of the cicadas. Even after I realized I was awake, I couldn't draw forth the energy to sit up. Everything I could see, everything I could hear, everything was like a television broadcast that had already ended. It was hot. So hot I could choke on the heat. My back was moist with night sweats, and it felt gross. Unable to endure it any longer, I tossed to my futon, and finally, blood started coursing through my brain. Welcome to the stream. We just got started. I lazily recalled the long day I had yesterday. The reality as I lay here listening to the voices of the cicadas. Yesterday so different from it. In order to kill Sadako's uncle, I had rehearsed, formulated a plan, and dug a hole. It was very hot, and I was tired, wasn't I? And when evening came, I went to school and called him out on the phone. I panicked for a moment when he asked where the police station was, but it worked out. And then I awaited him and swooped down. I couldn't remember anymore what sort of emotions I'd let control my body. In any case, it didn't go smoothly, but I did it. It was very hard to dig the hole for the body. That feel of the rain pelting down on me, I don't think I'll ever forget it. The rain, the mud, and the sprays of blood. The sensation of floundering in a swamp. When I met Takano-san on the way home, that wasn't good no matter how I interpreted it. It was the most misfortunate and uncalculated thing that had happened that night. Everything would have been perfect, if only I hadn't encountered her. Huh. I was just riding my bike with my shovel in one hand through the downpour, utterly soaked. There's no way someone could surmise I was a murderer bearing a body just from that information. Well, now that I was thinking calmly, napping under the morning sun, that's what I thought. Still, the more I think about Takano-san's eyes, it seemed like she understood. Takano-san, she knew that I'd killed someone, buried them, and that I'd been on my way home, exhausted. Takano-san wouldn't gain anything from selling me out to the police. But that didn't mean I could feel at ease. I should have killed her. I had crossed such a bridge to get my tranquil life back, and I'd finally achieved it as a result. But now, for the rest of my life, for the tranquil day starting today, I have to live in fear of when they could suddenly end. I may have twisted my ankle, dulled from total exhaustion. The fact that I couldn't make the snap judgment I needed to, I regretted it more and more as time went on. You didn't have a choice, Keiichi Maibara. You didn't have any choice at the time. You were tired. You were a mess. Even if you had made the decision, you might not have been even able to kill her. Ugh. She might have just beaten you instead. In that sense, parting ways uneventfully could have been the safer option. No matter how sharp Takano-san's intuition was, she had no proof. Her suspecting me didn't amount to evidence by itself. Logically, I know that. But that doesn't mean I have nothing to worry about, does it? Just worry about it when the time comes. Now isn't the time to be worrying. It's the time to be smiling, right? You accomplished so much just to gain a new life starting today, didn't you? Then you should be happy at this new morning. See, here's the deal. I'm so scared. Because we have been in the Keiichi zone for a little while now. Just in his head. Have not interacted with pretty much anyone else except for, well, Sadako's uncle. And, Takano. We have not talked to Sadako in a little bit. I have no clue what her reaction to all of this is going to be. And I'm scared. If remembering the past is too hard for you, then just consider everything up to yesterday as having never happened. You said so yourself. You'd bury it all like it never happened. Well, your wish came true. Everything before yesterday never happened. So be happy, Keiichi Maibara.
Why?
Yay. I stuck up my hands lazily. Felt a little silly for me to be the one doing it. I heaved a sigh from deep in my belly. That sigh got my lungs moving. Felt like I hadn't even been breathing until just now. It wasn't enough to admonish myself over. All the dice that could be thrown already had been. And the numbers that turned up weren't bad at all. If I lost with those numbers, I just have to give up, I guess. I grabbed the chest of my pajamas and flapped it back and forth. Cool air flowed over my sweating body. Okay. Nothing before yesterday happened. Nothing. Nothing at all. I'd forget it all. Yesterday was all a dream. What time was it? About midday? Getting myself up and going to school this late seemed kind of absurd. But I needed to go. Felt like going to school would be the first step into my peaceful new life. I didn't care how late it was. I would go. I'd go to school right now and get back to the life I had retaken as soon as I could. My lazy body immediately became lighter at the thought. I rolled up out of the futon, bounced onto my knees, and leaped upright. This guy needs to get himself an alibi immediately. Ooh, she's gonna show up and be like, "Hey kid, where were you night of the festival?" And I'm be like,
10.0.
Nice. Stuck the landing. I stuck out my chest with pride at my gymnast-like pose, then took a deep breath of fresh air. The brisk morning air had been gone for a while, replaced by the crisp air of summer. Downstairs, I got a stern talking to by my mother. "Where were you last night? When did you get back? You need to tell me when you won't be home for dinner." Things like that. But considering the importance of what I'd accomplished yesterday, a little scolding was no problem. In fact, it even felt like the sort of thing that would happen in such a peaceful life. I listened with an irresponsible smile and stepped out into the sun high overhead. It was around the time lunch break would be ending. Everyone would probably be worrying about me. I didn't go to the festival and now I wasn't at school. Well, maybe they weren't too worried about it, since they would have gotten a small piece of news, but a happy one from Sadako today. Yes, the small piece of news that her uncle hadn't come home last night. Sadako would probably live her days in nervous tension for a while, thinking he might still come home. But eventually those days would end. And finally, Sadako too would realize her uncle was never coming back. And then Rika-chan would quietly invite her. She would say, "You can live with me again." And everything would be back to normal. Our lives would go back to how they were before that man appeared. Sadako would start wearing that extraordinary smile, complete with those protruding canines, and fool everyone with those traps she was so proud of. I think now she has fangs. I'd probably be her first target out of everyone, but I wouldn't be mad. In fact, I might actually shed tears of joy at the return of something so normal. Sadako. She'd gradually grow back into that meddlesome personality of hers. I mean, my lack of useful life skills was already completely exposed. I wondered if I'd ever be a match for Sadako. That'd be such a pleasant thing to see, too. And with such warm, fuzzy predictions, I didn't feel bad for going to school so late. In fact, I wanted to run there now to get there as soon as I could. Instead, I decided to savor the peacefulness of just going to school like normal, without running. The world I'd obtained for myself, it gave me joy just by walking like this. Yes. The world beginning on this very day was something I had won. Without that monumental feat yesterday, I would never have been able to come to school so cheerfully today. The school gate came into sight. Just then, I heard the principal ringing the bell to mark the end of lunch break. It was a clear, refreshing sound. I stopped despite myself, and let myself take it in. Tap. I had stopped suddenly. So there was an extra footstep. With the noise, the blessedness I was feeling throughout my whole body withdrew into any pore it could find. And as if to replace it, I felt like hundreds of hairy caterpillars were climbing up my feet. I turned back, but of course, nobody was there. A single footstep could have easily been my imagination. But the footstep felt so ominous. That extra footstep I had heard after seeing Takano-san off last night. With everything that happened on that insane night, I didn't mind something like that happening once. It had been a hell of a night after all. In fact, having just one hallucination was pretty fortunate. But those footsteps should have ended with yesterday. So if I heard them again today, it was really only one thing it could have meant. Last night still wasn't over. It was still going. Still. An insane night. Forever. Step I heard. Just that one extra footstep was quietly ridiculing the nonsensical notion that the world starting today was completely different from the one that ended yesterday. My classmates playing in the schoolyard all vanished inside like the tide going out. When I approached the school, it felt like that warm, fuzzy scene had ended, and it didn't feel good. At the entrance, I took a quick look in everyone's shoe boxes. Sadako Hojo. She was here. Mion was here too. And Rena, of course. Even Rika-chan was here. Tomota-kun and Okamura-kun were here. In fact, I didn't see any missing classmates. If there were shoes missing, they would have been my own. I took my shoes off and stuck them in, and took out some slippers. There wasn't a single pair left in the shoe boxes anymore. With that, they returned to their rightful state. As I stepped up onto the wooden floor, I noticed there was just one pair of slippers left. Huh. Whose?
Hojo Satoshi.
Satoshi Hojo. Satoshi, who had never been to school since disappearing last year. Until now, we had committed the exact same act of violence. But I guess in the very end it went differently. You couldn't make it to school. Here I am. I didn't repeat the same mistake you made. I wasn't about to let myself feel superior about that. In fact, I felt an odd sense of familiarity with him. A misfortunate bond, someone I'd never met due to following the same fate. I headed down the hallway towards the usual classroom. Felt like it had been a whole year since coming here. Hey, did you forget Keiichi Maibara? Satoshi Hojo didn't really disappear on the night of Watanagashi, did he? Satoshi Hojo disappeared a few days later. On Sadako's birthday, if I was right. I didn't know what day it was. But I couldn't say for sure I'd avoided Satoshi's failure unless I remained here past that day. I was still living in that night of insanity. Please, I'm begging. The teacher still hadn't come to the classroom. The other door clattered open, the one the teacher wouldn't use, so everyone turned at once to see who had arrived. Everyone looked pretty vacant. Suppose I'll greet them.
おはよう、諸君。
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
出迎えご苦労であるぞよ。
I do thank you for coming all the way out here today. Silence. When I started to think I'd fallen flat, someone finally started laughing for me. Well, that's good. I like that. See, that's nice.
おはよう、ケイちゃん。
Good morning, Kei-chan.
今朝も飛ばしてるね。
You're pretty energetic today.
飛ばしてるね。
Yeah, energetic.
ケイチくん、まだお祭り気分が抜けてないのかもしれない。はう。
Maybe you haven't gotten out of the festival mood yet. Hearing Mion and Rena's cheerful voices made me realize how dumb those dark feelings I've been having at the entrance really were.
おいおい、お祭り気分って、そもそも俺。
Hey now, festive mood. I wasn't at the festival at all, remember? Before I could say that, Rika-chan smiled at me.
ケイチはちゃんと僕の演舞見ててくれましたですか？
Put them bells away. Keiichi, did you make sure to watch my dance? Yep,
ちゃんと見てたよ。
he saw it just fine. I see what's happening here. I see. This is my alibi. Thanks for covering me, guys!
あんなにいっぱい拍手してくれてたのに、リカちゃん気づかなかったのかな？
Didn't you see how big an applause he gave you?
ケイちゃんにシオンのやつがちょっかい出してきたのを無視してね。
And he ignored it when that troublemaker Shion came up and made a pass at him.
はははは。
Huh.
シオン、ざまあなかった。
Take that, Shion.
いい気分。
Wow, that felt good. Mion starts laughing at the memory as she slaps me a few times on the back.
それで、あの射的屋の対決って結局どうなったんですか？
This guy thinks he's important. So, how did that target practice contest turn out in the end? Tomono-kun was facing me and talking. There was nobody behind me. That meant he was talking to me?
あれは結局、富武がビリだったのですよ。
Tomitake turned up dead last. No, this isn't right. This isn't right.
みんなで楽しく罰ゲームをしましたです。
Everyone had a good time with this punishment game. Oh my. Huh.
リカちゃんも実質ビリみたいなもんだったじゃない。
Weren't you supposed to be the one in last place, Rika-chan?
あそこで起死回生の大技でガムをゲットとは、さすがは我が部の部員。
It was such a turnaround when you pulled off getting that chewing gum. Should have expected that from a member of my club.
見事だったよ。
It was fantastic. Crying at a time like that is a feat only Furude would be able to do, said Okamura-kun, breathing heavily from his nose. In my direction. Everyone laughed, If anyone but Rika-chan had done it, it would have been against the rules. Rika-chan gave one of her Nipa smiles as she listened to it. In my direction. Rena too turned to me. No, turned towards me. And then, with a somewhat embarrassed smile, she whispered to me so only I could hear.
でも、本当にありがとね、
But really, thanks,
ケイチくん。
Keiichi-kun.
何がだよ。
For what?
あのでっかいぬいぐるみ、
That giant stuffed animal. I don't like this!
すっごく嬉しかった。
I was really happy.
大事に枕元に置いてるんだよ。
It's nice and safe right at my bedside.
ちゃんと寝る前にお休みのキスしちゃった。
And I made sure to give it a good night kiss before bed, too. What's happening? I don't think they're acting. I thought they were just making shit up for me because they knew what I'd done. The class laughed at that, cheering and jeering. This whole time, the conversation had been a little bit off. I wasn't quite getting it.
ぬいぐるみがどうしたって？
What's this about a stuffed animal?
どうしたって。
What's
ほら、
this?
昨日のお祭りでみんなで頑張って落としたよ。
Come on, we all worked really hard at the festival yesterday to get it down, remember?
でっかいぬいぐる
The gigantic stuffed animal.
み。でっかいぬいぐるみ。
The gigantic stuffed animal. Rena seemed taken aback, but when she answered, she did it with a smile.
なかなか倒せないから機体を狙ったり、素早く何発も撃ったりしていろいろと試したんだよね。
We were having a hard time knocking it over, so we tried aiming at the forehead and rapid fire shooting and stuff.
それでケイチくん、鉄砲を何丁もあらかじめ用意して素早く撃ってみせてくれたんだよね。
And then, Keiichi-kun, you got a whole bunch of guns ready beforehand and shot them all.
かっこよかった。は
It was so cool. Wait, who was this?
あの後の飲み会でさ、町内会の会長連中にもケイちゃんの評判すごく良かったんだよ。
All the people in the neighborhood association, including the chairman, were praising you so much at the party afterwards.
ケイちゃんの売り工場に惚れたって騒いでたのは子供会の君吉徳三会長だったかな。
One of them said he'd fallen in love with your way of words. Tokuzo Kimiyoshi, the chairman of the children's committee, I think?
次の祭りではぜひケイちゃんに何店舗か任せたいって言ってた。
He said he wanted to entrust you with a few of the stalls at the next festival.
徳三はお祭りの実行委員
Where's my daughter?
部長さんなのです。
Tokuzo is the chair of the refreshment booths. He's on the festival executive committee. That Brasan is great at making things sound good, isn't he? Yep, whenever he talks about something, it seems a lot better than it actually is. You can't say that.
ケイチくんって売り子さんの才能があるんだね。
Keiichi-kun, you'd make a great salesman.
きっとバナナの叩き売りとかやったら上手だと思うよ。
I bet you'd do great auctioning off overripe bananas or something.
さっきから何の話だよ。
What have you been talking about?
だいたい俺、
I mean, I didn't go to the festival in the first place. I swallowed those words. I didn't know exactly why. But in Hinamizawa, this is what had happened. Yesterday, during the Watanagashi festival, Keiichi Maibara had appeared. He had romped about with all the usual members of his club. He made a big scene at a few of the stalls, snatched a few sticks of takoyaki and okonomiyaki in his glee, rating each of them as delicious or terrible to get everyone excited. And they'd seen a gigantic stuffed animal at the target practice game, and everyone went after it. And then I got a whole bunch of the cork guns, firing them in rapid succession, throwing each of them away after using it. And admirably, I shot down the biggest stuffed animal there. And then I gave the stuffed animal, the proof of my victory, to Rena as a gift. Then our fun came to a close as we had to go see Rika-chan's offertory dance. There's a ton of people squeezed in there, and we all got separated, but we each managed to get into good positions to cheer Rika-chan on from. Then, in the middle, when Shion came up and asked me to go hang out with her instead of watching the dedication dance, I refused. I stayed put, watching the dance till the very end. This is interesting. But who? Who was that? Oh, everyone's been saying it, haven't they? Keiichi Maibara. I had an urge to yell in anger at my classmates for having so much fun talking about the festival yesterday with Keiichi Maibara. What the hell are you guys even talking about? Far stronger than that feeling, though, was the sheer uncanny nature of this reality I couldn't understand. Keiichi Maibara, who wasn't me, was in Hinamizawa yesterday. As I threw away my humanity, turned into a demon, and was busy beating Sadako's uncle to death. I was having a great time at the festival last night. What the hell? I had to suffer through so much. Desperately holding back tears, getting so worn out in that downpour. Digging holes, chasing, beating, killing, dragging and burying. Who was this Keiichi Maibara who had ignored me so and spent such a fun, carefree time at the festival, damn it? Who the hell stood in for me as I put my life on the line working so hard to achieve this treasure-like everyday life? There was another Keiichi Maibara besides me. And what was I? On the night of Watson Nagashi, one died and one disappeared. In accordance with Oishiro-sama's curse, there was only a demon who had killed someone. Dumbfounded, as I succumbed to a horrifying possibility, I looked around at my classmates. To make sure there was nobody extra I didn't recognize among them. Make sure I wasn't among them. It was a horrifying thought. The real Keiichi Maibara hadn't overslept, had come to school on time. And that I, who was no longer Keiichi Maibara, just waltzed in here. But no matter how much I checked, the only people here were ones I knew. The man I met every time I looked in a bathroom mirror was not here. Okay, everyone.
午後の授業を始めますよ。
Time to start afternoon classes.
皆さん、席に戻ってください。
Please take your seats.
委員長、号令。
President, please lead the class. Where's Sadako? Teacher entered and everyone hurried back to their seats. Upon finding me, who was so stupidly late, she gave me a stern talking to. I wasn't listening to it. Wasn't our old life supposed to start today? Something wasn't right. It's just strange. I was supposed to go back to my old fun life after yesterday. I'd set foot in an incomparably mysterious world. It was completely different from both my old life and my recent one. Yes. This was, without a doubt, a different world than the one I'd been living in until now. There was no way such an absurd thing could be possible. But, unless it was true, I couldn't explain anything that just happened. In this classroom, I was surrounded by so many faces I knew, and yet I felt isolated. The cicadas sounded no different than they had before now. It seemed somehow false. The air was parched and dry, too, making me think. Is the air in Himizawa always this uncomfortable?
Oi, Rena.
Hey, Rena.
何かな？
What is it?
授業中なんだよ。
We're in class.
昨日の祭りだけどさ、
About the festival yesterday.
俺、いつ頃みんなと合流したっけ？
About when would you say I got there? Huh? To be honest, I was pretty excited afterwards, and I gobbled down some cans of beer. I mean, it's kind of embarrassing, but I don't quite remember some things. For random babbling, it wasn't a bad excuse.
圭一くん、最初は来れないって言ってたんだよね。
Keiichi-kun, you said you couldn't come at first, didn't you?
みーちゃんの家にそう電話したんでしょ？
You called Michan's house about it, right? That matched. Called Mion and told her to take Sadako in my place, since I wouldn't be able to meet up with them due to things I had to do.
さとこちゃんを誘ってあげようっていうのは、みんなでお祭りの準備をしてた時に決めたんだよ。
We all decided while we were setting up for the festival that we'd invite Sadako-chan.
少しでもおじさんの姿の見えないところに連れ出してあげようと思って。
We wanted to bring her out someplace where she couldn't see her uncle for a little while. That was the same too. Mion said that when I called her. That everyone had already decided to invite her.
それでみんなでレナとみーちゃんとリカちゃんでさとこちゃんの家に行ってさとこちゃんを連れ出して。
And then we all went, me, Mi-chan, and Rika-chan, to Sadako-chan's house and brought her out.
さとこちゃんのおじさん、すっごく意地悪そうな人だった。
Sadako-chan's uncle seems like a really mean person. That part didn't matter. What I was trying to ask
俺
was...
は、いつ合流したんだ？
well... When did I meet up with you?
そんなことも忘れちゃってるの？
How could you forget that?
圭一くん、だから祭りの前の日はよく寝た方がいいよって言ったのに。
Keiichi-kun, this is why I said to get a good night's sleep before the festival.
だから、
Whatever.
俺はいつ合流したんだよ？
When did I meet up with you? Well... At my sudden threatening demand, Rena was at a loss for words. Oops, I shouldn't have rushed that. I told her I was sorry.
境内でだよ。
It was at the shrine grounds.
ひょっこりと。
It was unexpected.
リカちゃんと話してたじゃない。
You were talking to Rika-chan, weren't you? Rika, what do you know?
うん。
Yep.
巫女さん姿のリカちゃんと楽しそうに話してた。
You were having a fun talk with Rika-chan in her shrine maiden outfit.
それでレナも加わって「はお持ち帰り」って。
And then Rena came up and said, I'm taking you home.
リカちゃんと話してたのか？
I was talking to Rika-chan?
ケイちゃん、用事か何かがあったんじゃないって私が聞いたらさ。
And I asked, Kei-chan, did you have something to do today?
ケイちゃん、胸を叩きながら自分で言ったじゃないのよ。
And you pounded your chest and said it
用
yourself.
事なんかより祭りで大暴れする方が大切だぜって。
That letting loose at a festival was more important than some silly errand. I didn't say that. I never said anything like that. I never even went to the shrine grounds yesterday to begin with. Okay, demons are real. Never had the time to stop by a place like that. I went to dig the hole as soon as I woke up. I had a pretty hard time doing it. After that, I snuck into the school and made a call. Called him out and lay in wait. Then it started raining really hard. With that kind of downpour, the festival should have come to a halt. In other words, it ended then. From the time the festival started to when it ended, it would have been impossible for me to have swung by the shrine grounds. I was already there when Mion and the others dragged Sadako out and brought her to the shrine, and I was talking to Rika-chan. Then where would Rika-chan say we met? The teacher went out to wash her hands, so I ran over to Rika-chan's desk and asked her directly.
圭一 ですか？
With you?
ああ、
Yeah.
リカちゃんはミオンたちが来る前から俺と話してたんだろ？
We were talking to each other before Mion and the others got there, right?
いつ俺に会ったんだ？
When did we see each other?
いつどこでだよ？
When and where?
圭一が何を聞きたいのかわからないのです。
I don't know what you're trying to ask. Tell me!
俺昨日寝不足で半分頭がぼーっとなっててさ。
You know, yesterday I didn't really get enough sleep. My head's a bit fuzzy.
何も覚えてないんだよ。
I don't remember a thing. It looked like Rika-chan bought into my babbling.
圭一と会ったのは集会所から村長さんたちと出てきた時なのです。
We saw each other when the mayor and the others came out of the assembly hall.
圭一は西宮殿の扉の前にいましたのですよ。
You were in front of the ritual implement storehouse.
え？
Huh?
何？
What?
西宮殿？
The ritual implement storehouse? I'd never heard of a building called that before. Maybe I have, but at the very least, I wouldn't know where on the shrine grounds it was.
村長さんがそこは神聖な場所だからみだりに近寄ってはならにゅうと怒りましたですよ。
The mayor got real angry at you, since you shouldn't go near holy places without authority, remember?
圭一、それも忘れてしまいましたですか？
Keiichi, did you forget that too? I was too scared to ask anymore. More I asked, more it became clear without any doubt that Keiichi Maibara was present at the Furude Shrine Grounds during the Watanagashi Festival. The clearer that became, the more doubts, no fears I had. Who on earth was I yesterday? Wherever that was, he had a good time in my place, and managed to go the entire day without letting them notice I wasn't there. Oh, right. When did that person leave everyone? This morning, my mother got mad at me for having stayed out so late last night. Which meant at the very least that Keiichi Maibara hadn't come home while my mother was still awake. I'm gonna guess this is related to the double footsteps. The festival would have been closed because of the downpour. If I recall right, when I went back to my house's storage room to get another shovel, I think the clock said 7. Since it was already raining hard by then, the festival would have had to close down before 7. If I'd returned that early, I would have definitely run into my parents. Or at the very least, they wouldn't have asked me when I got back last night. So the Keiichi Maibara from yesterday, that meant he never went home. That meant the downpour happened, the festival was broken up, everyone left. But he didn't go back to the house. That means... When I arrived at the natural conclusion, a wicked chill suddenly froze my spine and climbed up to my brain. That meant Keiichi Maibara was the same as Satoshi. One day, he never went home. On the night of Watanagashi, he never went home. The downpour interrupted the festival, and on the way home, he suddenly disappeared. And I, who was dealing with the corpse, went home without a problem. I was so tired I wasn't even hungry, so I went up to my room without a sound and crawled in my futon. Who was I? That much was obvious. Keiichi Maibara. Keiichi Maibara was me. There may have been another one, but that doesn't negate the fact that I was Keiichi Maibara. Then, that other Keiichi Maibara was... what? The voices of the cicadas, steadily filling the classroom, were beginning to bother me. Suddenly, I laid eyes on Sadako. Hey, kid. Oh. Sadako's expression was dark as always. She seemed completely exhausted. A life of agony she couldn't even imagine an ending to. What had last night been like for Sadako? Did she have fun with everyone and feel a little happier, if even for a moment? And when she went home. The end of her dream. She'd probably gone to sleep afraid of when her uncle would return. And then this morning, her uncle hadn't come home. And then she went to school. Right now, she must have been still trapped by the rotten idea from which she couldn't be saved, that her uncle would need her when she got back. You can rest easy, Sadako. Your uncle won't ever be coming back. I couldn't tell her it was because I'd killed him. And Sadako realized on her own that her uncle would never return. That would truly be the end of the long, insane night. That's right. I didn't do anything wrong. I did the best possible thing I could have as Sadako's Nini. Not an atom in my body regretted it. And look, calm down and think, Keiichimabara. From a certain point of view, isn't it convenient there was another Keiichimabara? I buried the corpse perfectly. The beginning wouldn't happen. But, if worst came to worst, and it got out, and the investigation got to me, I had a strong alibi, able to profess the fact that I had been at the Watanagashi festival. But accepting something so creepy, and using it as an alibi. Still, I proved I hadn't gone to the festival yesterday. Do no good and a whole lot of harm. That was what left the really, actually bad aftertaste. You'll forget about it, Keiichimabara. Everything that happened before today. So just forget about the Keiichimabara who was there yesterday, too. Instead, let's watch gently over Sadako, for the day her smile returns. And the day that would mark the end of that insane, all-too-long night. Oh my god!
それでは今日はこれで終わりです。
That's all for today, class.
皆さん、寄り道をしないでちゃんとお家へ帰るんですよ。
Please go straight back to your homes, everyone.
委員長、号令。
President, if you would.
起立。気をつけ。
Everybody stand up. At attention. Bow. Goodbye. I thought about many things, and saw my thoughts dispersed by many other things. I didn't know whether or not that time had been spent worrying or daydreaming, but either way, it came to an end along with the class. Cheerfully, our classmates got their things and ran for the hallway. Mion, Rena, and Rika-chan were packing up as well. What about Sadako? This whole day, she seemed deflated. Well, her uncle may not have returned last night. She wouldn't have known he'd never return. How much I wanted to express that fact to her. Sadako packed up her pencil box and math workbook messily, and after a dark glance at the clock heaved a sigh. Then went to leave the classroom. Then, suddenly, somebody placed his hand on her shoulder and stopped her.
何ですの？
What is it?
私、ちゃんと水やり当番もやりましたし、プリントだってちゃんと。
I watered the plants like I was supposed to and got all the printouts done. Her words, possessed by a persecution complex, hurt. I spoke loudly so everyone could hear.
なあみんな。
Hey
あ
everyone!
のさ、今日は久しぶりにやらないか？
Why don't we have club today?
部活。
Been a while. Sadako always had to tend to her uncle, so club had been on hiatus. In our minds, our club was proof of a calm, peaceful life. By enjoying being together, I wanted to make Sadako realize her days of darkness were over.
レナは、
I'm okay.
いいよ。
I'll do it.
み、
Meep.
そりゃまあ
Well, I mean,
私は構わないけど
I don't mind.
さとこがいいならね。
It's okay with Sadako. Under a condition. That was important. With everything up to her, Sadako gave a worried look.
なあ、サトコ。久々にどうだよ。
Come on, Sadako, it's been a long time.
パーッとさ。
Let's go crazy!
その、お気持ちは嬉しいでございますけど。
Well, I'm happy you feel that way, but... God, this sprite where she's slightly smiling, but she still has the dead eyes fucking kills me. It hurts so bad. My uncle might already be home. Thus spoke her darkened eyes, her mouth unmoving.
サトコもさ、連日息が詰まるような生活をずっと続けててさ。
You've been choking on life every day for a while. You must be about to suffocate.
そんなのは心にも体にも悪いだけだぜ。
It's not good for your mind or body.
やっぱりたまにはパーッと弾けなきゃな。
Once in a while, you've got to have some fun.
放っておいてくださいまし。
Please, leave it alone.
私だって、そりゃ部活がまたやれたらと思っていますわよ。
It's not like I don't want to do club again. This game is torture on the heart and soul. I know. Come on, let's just can we offer okay, Sadako, I'll walk home with you, and then we'll get there, and her uncle won't be there, and we'll be like, wow, golly gee, isn't that crazy? Let's go hang out with the gang. With one word, but she looked down.
みんなで遊んだ方が楽しいのはサトコだってよく知ってるだろ。
Sadako, you know as well as anyone that it's more fun being with everyone, right?
俺たちは仲間だぜ。
We're friends.
みんなで一緒に過ごすようにできてるんだよ。
Means we can spend time with each other.
サトコだって昨日みんなでお祭りで騒いで楽しかったろ。
I mean, you had a great time at the festival yesterday with everyone, didn't you? Rena nearly said something. She was too late.
ケイツさん、何を言ってますの？
Keiji-san, what are you saying? My arm on her shoulder seemed to weigh her down, and she threw it off.
私がお祭りで楽しく、いつ遊んだって言うんですの？
When exactly was I playing and having fun at the festival?
楽しく遊んだのは、ケイツさんだけじゃありませんの。
The only one having fun was you, Keiichi-san.
Huh?
I looked over to Mion for help. Now everyone was looking down. My instincts told me that Sadako hadn't gone to the festival. But Rena said it herself. As she went with Mion to Sadako's house to invite her.
さとこちゃん、途中で帰っちゃったの。
Sadako-chan left on the way there.
神社には行かなかった。
She didn't go to the shrine.
どうして？
Why? I realized the absurdity of what I just said with Sadako in front of me.
おじが家で待ってるのに一人だけ遊んでると悪いって言って。
She said her uncle was waiting at home, and she couldn't have fun by herself
神社の直前で。
when we were in front of the shrine.
私たちも引き止めたんだよ。
We tried to stop her too.
今日はおじさん公認だから、ちゃんと遊んでも怒られないんだよって。
We told her uncle said it was okay and that he wouldn't get mad if she had a good time. At some point, tears had begun welling up in Sadako's eyes. Sadako was so afraid of her uncle. She couldn't even allow herself time with her friends. Went home. No, she was even afraid of letting herself have a good time with her friends.
ケイチさんはいいですわね。
Keiichi-san, you must have it nice.
みんなで楽しくお祭り一夜を過ごせて。
Having a blast at the festival all night.
聞けば、大層盛り上がって大活躍だったそうじゃないですの。
They told me you went all out, didn't you?
お羨ましいことですわ。
Very envious. Smiling to herself, her tears began to fall.
私には、養わなければならないおじがいますの。
I must provide for my uncle.
ケイチさんみたいに、ご両親にのんびり養ってもらってる人とは、わけが違いますですのよ。
It's completely different from you. How you let your parents do everything.
サトコ。
Sadako.
楽しくお祭りが過ごせてよかったですわね。
So glad you enjoyed yourself at the festival.
私の分まで楽しく過ごせて本当におよろしかったですこと。
So glad you had enough fun for me too.
私だって部活がしたいですわ。
I mean, I want to participate in the club too.
みんなで楽しく大騒ぎして楽しくて楽しくて。
Making such a racket with everyone is so much fun.
でも今の私そんなの
But right now I can't. I can't. Unable to withstand such violent emotion, a few teardrops slid down her cheek. But even though she was having such a terrible time, not once did she ever say that it was hard for her. It was a sad, obstinate bravery. But the days when Sadako had to feel like that were over. Sadako didn't need to endure it, to bear it anymore. She could forget all about it now and smile. I was so frustrated not being able to tell her that directly. Instead, I said something that I'm not sure I should have said before I thought twice about
帰っ
it.
てこないんだろ
He didn't
あいつは。
come home, did he? The words were deeply meaningful to me, but I didn't know if Sadako understood them.
帰ってこないって誰がですの？
Didn't come home? Who?
ゆうべは帰らなかったんだろ
He didn't come home last night, did he?
お前のお家は。
Your uncle?
何を言ってますの圭一さんは。
I thought this would happen. Are you talking about Keiichi-san? Sadako shouted with all her might.
あいつがいついなくなったって言うんですの？
When has he not been there?
いつ？
When?
いつ？
When?
落ち着けよ。
Calm down.
だって昨日あいつは帰ってこなかったろ。
I mean, he didn't come home yesterday, did he?
圭一さんが何を言ってるのか全然わかりませんでしたよ。
I don't understand what you're trying to say, Keiichi-san.
さとここそ何を言ってんだよ。
Sadako, what are you talking about?
だってあの男は。
I mean, that man, I killed him. Killed him yesterday. Killed him for sure. And I buried him. Buried him whole. Could never have returned to his house.
昨日だって私にいっぱい意地悪して。
Even yesterday, he was torturing me so much.
怒鳴って
He yelled at me.
食べて
He shouted at me.
当たり散らして。
I'm followed with everything I did.
作ったご飯を投げられた。
He threw the dinner I made him on the floor.
お味噌汁もひっくり返された。
Dumped his bowl of miso soup on me too.
暑かった。
It was hot.
汚かった。
It was messy.
そしてお掃除も私がした。
I cleaned all of it up.
私が
I cleaned
私が
all of it.
あーあー
What? Our stories weren't matching up.
あいついる？
He... Night?
今朝だって朝ごはんの時起こせって言われたから起こしたのに怒られた。
This morning, when he woke me up to make him breakfast, he got so mad at me.
起こさなかったらまた怒るように起こしても怒られた。
He would have gotten mad at me whether I'd gotten up or not.
さとこ。
Sadako. Rika-chan went over to Sadako and said a few words of consolation. But Sadako angrily refused those words and thrust Rika-chan away.
いいに
Nini.
いいに
Nini.
早く帰ってきてよ。
Come back. Come back. Crying, Sadako slowly walked out into the hallway. After a moment, Rika-chan went after her. Couldn't stop thinking about the words Sadako had spoken while crying. Buried her uncle last night. She said this morning that was impossible. They buried him last night. She couldn't have seen her uncle this morning. What What was Sadako? At that point, I heard Mion's cold voice.
ねえケイちゃん、
Hey, Kei-chan.
サトコのおじさんが帰ってこないって。
What did you mean about
何？
Sadako's uncle? Gulp. I said too much. I let my emotions get the better of me.
レナも聞いたよ。
Rena heard it too.
さとこちゃんのおじさんが帰ってこないって言った。
You said Sadako-chan's uncle didn't come home.
どうして？
Why?
なんで帰ってこないの？
Why didn't he come home? Don't smile at me like this.
おかしいよね。
That's strange.
だって今朝もちゃんとさとこちゃんのおじさんはいるんだよ。
Sadako-chan's uncle was right there this morning, wasn't he?
なのになんで帰ってこないなんて言うのかな。
So why would you say he didn't come back? Come back.
ケイちゃん、言ってることがさっきから変。
Kei-chan, you've been saying weird things for a while. Suddenly, Mion and Rena started to speak in strange and creepy voices. Don't do the eyes. What were they doing? What were they saying?
ケイ
Yeah,
ちゃんはサトコのおじさんがいると何か都合が悪いことでもあるわけ？
Kei-chan, is it somehow inconvenient for you for Sadako's uncle to be around?
お前らこそ何を言ってるんだ。
You... No, what are you talking about?
サトコのおじなんかいない方がいいに決まってるだろうが。
Of course it'd be better if Sadako's uncle wasn't here.
うん。
Yep,
それはもちろんいない方がいいよね。よね。
that's true, of course. If only he weren't here, right? It's not funny. It's not funny. Something wasn't right. The next thing I knew, Mion and Rena were smiling thinly. Their eyes were dark and muddy in a way that I'd never seen before. And as our eyes met, that mud even seemed to fill the air.
サトコのおじは確かに嫌なやつだよね。
Sadako's uncle is an awful person, no doubt.
私もいなくなった方がいいやつだと思うよ。
I think we'd all be better off with him gone just as much as you
で
do.
もさ、
But he's here.
仕方ないじゃない。
There's nothing we can do, right? Nothing we can do. Something's wrong. Something's clearly wrong here. What the hell was happening? After a moment, a chilly liquid-like feeling, as though my blood had been mixed with sherbet, crawled up my spine.
仕方ないって。そりゃ仕方ないけど。
No choice. I mean, of course there isn't, but
でもそれじゃサトコが。
then Sadako will never...
仕方がなければどうするのかな。
There's no choice. What would you do? Rena was trying to prompt me to say more. There really was no choice, so I killed him. I killed him to protect Sadako.
それは
That's...
放っておきなよ。
Leave him alone.
そのうち解決しちゃうと思うしさ。
I think things will resolve themselves soon enough.
さとこちゃんがおじさんがいるって言ってるんだからいる。
Sadako-chan said her uncle was here, so he's here.
ちゃんと昨日もいたし今朝もいる。
He was here yesterday, and he's here today.
そうならそうでいいんじゃないかな。かな。
She said so, so it's fine, right? Right? Keep fucking with my USB. Oops. Mion and Rena were speaking unbelievably dismissively. How could they be talking like that? Mion and Rena, they were my friends. Were seriously worried about Sadako's abuse, weren't they? Never blurt out something like this. And I definitely killed Sadako's uncle. No matter what Sadako or anyone else says, I wouldn't acknowledge it because him being alive was impossible. There's no way he was alive. It was impossible. And yet, since Sadako herself said he was here, then he was alive. I didn't know why or how, but suddenly Mion and Rena were at my side, standing there silently.
帰ろうよ、ケイちゃん。
Let's go home, Kei-chan.
帰ったらね、今日は久しぶりにレナ、宝探しに行くつもりなんだ。
After we leave, Rena wants to go treasure hunting for the first time in a while.
みーちゃんも来るんだよ。
Mi-chan is coming too. Oh, they're gonna kill me in the scrapyard.
ケイちゃんも一緒に行こ
Kei-chan, you should come along. No, I don't want to!
う。もちろん拒否権はないからね。
Of course, you're not allowed to refuse. If words could freeze blood, then there was no doubt they would have frozen me solid. I could hear it, a strained sound, like a layer of thin ice spreading, emanating from every joint in my body. And with them closely at my sides, we left the school, as if there were police officers taking me away. They talked about silly things the entire way home, like they always did. They always stood at my sides, as if to prevent me from escaping. This was strange. Everything about this day was strange. Actually, it had been strange ever since the previous night. Yes, thinking back, it's been strange ever since killing Sadako's uncle. That creepy meeting with Takano-san was only the beginning. That insane night was still continuing. Yes, it still hadn't ended.
何？
What?
どうしたのケイちゃん。急に立ち止まったりして。
What's wrong, Kei-chan? Why'd you suddenly stop?
ごめん。なんでもないよ。
Sorry, it's nothing. When I stopped, it was distant, but I definitely heard them. An extra set of footsteps. That was proof. Proof that insane night hadn't ended. You know that feeling when, like... Have you ever gone a really long time without eating? To the point that you get a weird feeling in your stomach, and you're lightheaded, and your vision starts to go weird and fuzzy, and you just feel like you're not even walking when you move, you're just floating. I feel like that right now. I have that feeling right now. I feel sick. Mion left where she usually did, and finally we came to my house.
じゃあね、ケイチくん。
Okay, Keiichi-kun,
お家で待っててね。
wait here for me.
レナ、すぐに迎えに行くから。
Ren will come to pick you up soon. I'm getting fucked up in that scrapyard. They're gonna get me. They were like, hey, let's go treasure hunting for the first time in a while. It'll be Rena and Mion and you, Keiichi. You have to come. Oh god, they're gonna get me. What was it? She was inviting me along one of her oversized garbage treasure hunts at the dam site, right? But why now? Mion coming along was strange too. Mion may have accepted Rena's little hobby, but she hated fishing through garbage, so she'd never come with her before. And the location specifically being the dam site was a little creepy. Yeah, let's go to the roof. It's a nice day. Get on the fucking roof. I don't know if we're referencing the same thing. No, they're gonna get me. Oh my god. The damn construction site was completely outside the flow of everyday life. It was so remote that no one ever went there unless they thought to in particular. Nobody lived there. There were no lights, so at night it got dark very quickly. I was being forcibly invited there. There was no reason I had to fear Rena and Mion. Besides, wouldn't the trouble I'd make by refusing them be a pain to deal with? In that way, it didn't seem like going treasure hunting with them was a bad idea. But that insane night was continuing. Haven't the sirens of instinct been wailing in my mind for a while now? Warning me that Marina and Mion were strange. I needed to be cautious. The warning signs were so freaking loud it felt like my head would split in two.
あ、レナ、
Rena,
俺、実はちょっと、用事があるんだ。
I actually have something to do.
用事
Something to do?
何の
Like what?
なんのって、用事だよ、用事。
Like what? I just have something to do, okay?
用事なら、なんでみーちゃんがいるうちに言ってくれなかったの
If you had something to do, why didn't you say it while Michan was here?
みーちゃんとはダム現場で待ち合わせって言って別れちゃった後なのに。
I already told her to meet us at the dam site before we split up. Rena was smiling, but her words made her discomfort clear.
ごめん。
Sorry.
ちょっと、言い出すタイミングを逃しちゃって。
I just kind of missed the opportunity to say so.
本当に
Really? You're lying, aren't you? You just made that up now, you liar. That's what Rena's eyes said to me.
俺、頭が痛いんだ。
My head hurts.
風邪かもしれない。
I might have a cold.
だから、病院に行って、薬をもらってきたいんだよ。
So I wanted to go get it checked out and get some medicine.
本当に
Really? That wasn't really a lie. My head did hurt a little bit, so I wasn't lying. Rena, she couldn't figure out if my head hurt or not just by looking at it.
なら仕方ないね。
Then I guess that's that. After staring me in the eyes for a few moments, she fired a sharp, needle-like stare at me. The tension in my body loosened, and I felt like my knees might buckle.
診療所に行くなら早く行った方がいいと思うよ。
If you're going to the clinic, then you should go
あ
soon.
そこたまに早く閉まるから。
Sometimes they close early.
ありがと
Thanks.
う。そうするよ。
I'll do that.
必ず行くんだよ。
Make sure you go, okay?
病院
To the hospital?
行くよ。
I will.
本当に行くんだよ。
Go, for real.
行く。
I will. It seemed like Rena had realized that I was going to refuse her invitation for a while now. With how serious she looked, she might actually call the clinic later to make sure I went. Couldn't say anything careless. Lying about getting checked out was just an excuse to decline a request in the first place. I don't want to go to the clinic. That's where Takano-san works. It didn't matter whether I actually went. Like, is she gonna... Because here's the deal. Clearly we got double people. Is Takano gonna be there? Even though she apparently... Well, maybe. It wasn't confirmed, but implied. Burned in a barrel in the mountains.
あ、ちゃんと行くよ。
Yeah, I'll go.
なんなら明日、病院のレシートを持って行ってもいい。
If you want, I can bring you the bill tomorrow.
それいいね。
Oh, that would be good.
必ずもらっておいてね。
You should bring it, okay?
レナ、明日見るから。
Rena will look at it then. Another tingle started crawling up my back. You know, I'd like to see Ibushi despite it all. He legitimately brings me some comfort. Because he's the only damn guy who gets that something's not right here. There was no ignoring it. Rena and Mion must have been monitoring my movements. That wasn't normal. Far from it. All of it was insane. I did what I did because I wanted my peaceful life back. But what on earth was all this? It was far from peaceful. Something had gone mad, leaving the world out of order. With the other, Keiichi Maibara. With those creepy footsteps I've been hearing. With Ren and Mion acting so curious. Above all, with him being alive. Where was I? Hinamizawa Village, Shishibone. Knew that much. Was this really the Hinamizawa I knew?
おい、前原圭一。ここは、どこなんだ？
Hey, Kichimabara, where is this? I asked, whipping around before the front door, to face the one who's been following in my wake all day. Nobody would have been there, of course. Kichimabara, huh? That's what I just called him. Called the one who'd been trailing behind me this whole time. That shadowy presence, always clinging to me, like it was constantly watching for the opportunity to change places. Footsteps always following me. It's another impossibility. It couldn't have been a ghost. It was just impossible. So the strangest must have been my ears, my head, or Hinamizawa. Everything I could see was the same exact Hinamizawa I knew so well, and that gave me the creeps. Eventually, I decided to actually go to the clinic. I really didn't want to go outside. But a stronger feeling than that desire was the fear Rena might actually be keeping an eye on me to see if I went to the hospital. But before I went to the clinic, there was something I wanted to make sure of. It was at school. I pretended I'd forgotten something. I was going back to the classroom to pick it up. As soon as the thought crossed my mind, I was overwhelmed by paranoia. I was just going to the classroom. I hated it so much, having to be so careful to fake it. After carefully verifying once more that nobody was watching, I went over to the locker. Yes, Satoshi's locker. I committed the crime with the bat I found in this locker, Satoshi's bat. And then I had thrown the bat into the swamp. Which meant the bat shouldn't have been inside. But, what if the bat was still in here? It was a very dreadful, incomprehensible idea. If it was true, it would explain a lot. If the bat was in here, yesterday's events would have all been a delusion. No, an illusion. I hadn't killed anyone, and had gone to the festival. I had a great time rampaging about with everyone. It would prove that Keiichi Maibara was really me. Proof that I was only under some strange assumption that I had killed Sadako's uncle. Proof that it had all been a wild fantasy. That would explain everything. Nothing happened yesterday. I'd just gone mad, unable to separate my shocking, uncle-killing dream from reality. That would explain everything. If the bat was here, would I be able to accept that reality? If it was here, nothing will have changed. If it was here, just mean and gone crazy. Preparing myself for the worst, I opened the locker door. I was actually scared of opening it slowly, so I threw it open with a bang. And just like the first time, a choking scent of smell and sweat, like a stale towel, came flowing out. There's a baseball uniform, and some miscellaneous other things like notebooks. There's also a shoe pouch. And as for the bat, it wasn't here. That's how I left it when I took the bat out. There was no doubt. Yesterday really happened. Now that I knew I wasn't a lunatic, I felt relieved. the same time, I wasn't the crazy one, then Himizawa was. And that was evidence of a reality I found just as difficult to accept. There was noise somehow creeping into everything I saw, and the world was losing a tiny bit of color. So, what did I know about last night now? Now that I'd made sure the bat wasn't there, didn't need to be here anymore. Shall I go? For real to the hospital? It was my first time going to the hospital, but from what I'd heard, it wasn't far from school. My mom had told me where it was. A big, easy-to-see road went straight there. I went past the shopping street, made a turn. It wasn't overly hard to spot the sign with Erie Clinic written on it. Oh, my guy! There was one other person, an older man, there in the air-conditioned waiting room. I went up to the counter and told him it was my first time here. The man behind the counter glanced at the clock and said there would be a short wait. It was almost 5. Clinic hours would be ending soon. As I sat in this unfamiliar waiting room, isolated from everyone, and let myself feel the cool air, I actually felt relieved. Should I tell the doctor when he comes? I could tell him I had a cold. It was the very picture of health. Actually, I wanted him to check my head. I wanted someone to confirm for me whether I was really sane or not.
前原圭一さん、
Ichimabara-san,
診察室へお入りください。
please come to the examination room. Huh? The voice from the other side of the examination curtain. I thought I'd heard it somewhere before.
こんにちは。
Hello.
ここでお会いするのは初めてですね。
This is the first time we've seen each other here.
監督
Coach!
監督ってお医者さんだったんですか？
Coach, you were a doctor? Now that you mention it, he did seem to know his way around when he was looking at my shoulder in the nurse's office. It would make sense if he was actually a doctor. Come to think of it, our teacher called him Erie-sensei, didn't she?
一応お医者さんなんかやっています。
Well, yes, I'm more or less a doctor here.
お医者さんはいいですよ。
Doctors have it really good, you know.
若いすべすべなお肌を見放題の触り放題。
You get to see and touch all that young, silky, smooth skin. Okay, man, look, you're cool, but you gotta cut that out.
怪しいお注射で自由を奪って私だけの専属メイドに。
I could steal their agency with a suspicious injection and have them be my personal maids. Okay, 1, not funny. Stop. 2, I don't want to hear nothing about suspicious injections in this game.
ありがとうございました。
Thank you very much.
今のを見てただけで風邪が治りました。
Just seeing that made my cold go away.
失礼します。
I'll be leaving now.
ぺこり。
Polite bow.
わったったった。
Whoa, wait.
前原さん。
My Bara-san.
冗談です。
A joke. It was a joke.
さ座って診察させてください。
Come. Sit down. Let me take a look at you.
聴診器を当てますから前原さんのすべすべのお胸を見せてください。
I need to use my stethoscope. So show me your silky smooth chest, my Bara-san. You gotta quit! For some reason, I felt really relieved. After that insane night, as much as I thought everything had gone crazy, Coach was here doing the same thing he always did. I was very happy for that.
風邪ではないようですね。
You don't seem to have a cold.
むしろ全身の擦り傷や切り傷の方が痛々しいくらいです。
Actually, those scrapes and cuts all over you seem to be the painful thing.
ひょっとして半袖半ズボンで藪の中に入って遊びましたか？
Don't tell me you were playing in the bushes with short sleeves and shorts.
切り傷から破傷風菌が入った可能性もないとは言えませんし、
I mean, I can't say for sure you haven't been infected with tetanus. As I was chasing that man last night, I had kept being scraped by bits of trees. I didn't realize I had so many cuts.
昨日のお祭りではしゃぎすぎましたね。
You went a little too crazy at the festival yesterday.
若いというのはいいことです。
Enjoy that while you're young. Once again, I apparently went to the festival.
監督も行ったんですよね。
Coach, did you go too?
お祭り。
To the festival?
ええ、
Yes,
もちろんですよ。
of course I did.
私こう見えても綿流しの実行委員会の役員ですからね。
Maybe a doctor, but I'm also on the Watanagashi Executive Committee. So,
俺に会いましたか？
did you see me there? This coach was the same coach that I'd always known, and I felt like I could trust him more than my weird friends, so I asked.
実は私本部テントでずっと会長さんたちとお酒を飲んでたんで、全然お祭りは見て回ってないんですよ。
Well, actually, I was drinking in the main tent with the chairman and the others the whole time. I didn't go out to see the festival at all.
前原さんには会ってないと思います。
I don't think I saw you.
そうですか。
Oh,
変わった質問をしましたね。
that was a strange question.
ひょっとして今日寝不足ですか？
Perhaps you didn't sleep well last night?
いけませんよ。成長期はよく食べよく寝て育つんですから。
Can't do that. You have to sleep and eat well to grow up fine. Coach let out a laugh. He didn't laugh in an unnatural way like Mion and Rena did. Coach was okay. He was the coach from the world I knew. He wasn't someone from this abnormal world.
こんな話、きっと変だと思うんですけど、
Well, this all might seem a little weird to you, but
笑わないで聞いてほしいんです。
I want you to hear me out without laughing.
ねえ、どうぞ。
Yes, go ahead.
思春期のシャイな悩み、大いに歓迎ですよ。
I greatly welcome any shy, bashful worries you might have as you come into puberty. Okay, not like that.
うり二つな人間がいるなんてありえますか？
Could it be possible that I have an identical twin? Coach hadn't expected that question at all and couldn't say anything for a moment. But then he smiled calmly and quietly answered.
迷信ですが、世界には自分と全く同じ顔をした人があと2人いるなんて話を聞いたことがありますね。
This is just superstition, but I've heard before that everyone has two other people in the world who look just like them.
いるならぜひお会いしてみたいものですが。
If there was, I'd certainly like to meet him, though.
あと、おとぎ話にも自分の分身が登場する話がいろいろありますよ。
Also, there are plenty of fairy tales where a person's double appears.
ドイツのおとぎ話に出てくるドッペルのお化けなどは有名です。
The German ones about doppelgangers are probably the most famous.
ドッペルのお化け？
Doppelgangers?
ええ、
Yes,
自分の姿に瓜二つなんだそうです。
they look exactly like another person.
不幸の前触れなんだそうで、これに会ってしまうと近いうちに死んでしまうみたいな話らしいですよ。
Apparently, they herald misfortune, and if you meet one, you're sure to die soon. I think that's how it went. When you meet them, you're sure to die soon. The story ended directly in death, plain and simple, and it made my spine tingle. Coach wasn't saying it to scare me, though. He was just offering a casual anecdote that made it feel all the more real.
そのお化けがひなみ沢に出るなんて話はありますか？
Have you ever heard of one of those things showing up in Hinamizawa?
ええ
What?
さて、どうでしょ
Well, I can't say that I have. Coach must have thought he was being teased, so he laughed in an exaggerated way. But when I didn't smile along with him, his laughter steadily grew fainter.
すみません。ちょっと真面目な話のつもりだったんで。
I'm sorry. Well, I was sort of being serious.
う。いえ、こっちこそ笑ってすみませんでした。
No, I apologize for laughing.
何か 気になることでもおありですか？
Was there something you were worried about? I wondered if I should tell him. Then, after resolving myself one final time, I slowly spoke.
俺、昨日はお祭りに行っていないんです。
I didn't go to the festival yesterday.
そうでしたか。
Is that right?
お祭りは来年もあります。
Well, there'll be one next year.
その時また。
And then you can...
そうじゃなくて、
It's not what I meant!
俺は祭りに行っていないのに、みんなが言うには、俺は祭りにいたらしいんですよ。
I didn't go to the festival, but according to everyone else, I was there.
こんなことってあるんですか？
Could that even be possible? After blinking his eyes in amazement, Coach thought seriously about what I was trying to say. And he answered, choosing his words carefully.
お話を整理しますね。
Let me make sure I have this straight.
つまり前原くんは綿流しのお祭りに行ったけど、その記憶がないということですか？
My Barakun, you went to the Watanagashi festival, but don't remember it. Am I right? I was trying to say something completely different, but I suppose any sane person would come to that conclusion. That night, Keiichi Maibara was actually at the festival, but I was saying I didn't go. That obviously meant my memories of going there had failed me. But that was absolutely impossible. That vivid act I had committed during the downpour couldn't possibly have been an illusion. All these scrapes on my body prove it, as does the fact the bat wasn't in the locker.
いえ、違うんです、監督。
No, that's not it, Coach.
俺は本当に祭りに行っていないんです。
I really didn't go to the festival.
気を悪くしないでくださいよ、前原さん。
Please don't take offense, Maibara-san.
前原さんにはこれまでに気づいたら見知らぬ場所にいたとか、そういう記憶の欠落を経験されたことがありますか？
You ever had an experience where you were suddenly somewhere unfamiliar and you couldn't remember why?
ないです。
No.
それに、記憶を失ったとかそういうのじゃない。
And I didn't lose my memories or anything.
だって、その祭りの時間には別の用事を確かにやっていましたから。
Because while the festival was going on, I was definitely doing something else.
寝てて意識がなかったとか、そういうのじゃありません。
It wasn't like I was asleep and unconscious or anything.
その用事は間違いなく。
You're certain you were doing something else.
大変失礼ですが、何かの思い込みでなく。
I know I'm being awfully rude, but are you sure you're not mistaken?
間違いありません。
I know I'm not.
完全にはっきりとした記憶、いや事実です。
My memories are clear as day, and they were real.
お祭りの時間に神社にいなくて、よそで別の用事をしていた。
During the festival, you weren't at the shrine and you were doing something somewhere else.
それをはっきりした形で証明できますか？
Can you definitely prove that? That's right. Thinking it through brought me to this. There was only one way to prove that I really wasn't at the festival yesterday. And that was to show that there was no doubt I had killed her uncle. Coach saw me struggling to answer, and his eyes looked a little cold. I guess they would. After all, from Coach's perspective, I was just a weirdo sputtering nonsense.
少し横になりましょうか。
Would you like to lay down?
心を落ち着けて楽にしましょう。
Maybe you should relax and take it easy for a bit.
別に横になりに来たわけじゃありません。遠
Sorry,
慮します。
I didn't really come here to lay down.
少し神経に高ぶりがあるようです。
You seem to be a little worked up.
鎮静剤を注射して少し目をつむってみませんか？
Why don't I give you a sedative that'll let you sleep for a bit?
それで
That way,
俺は異常者じゃない。
I'm not being strange. I realized Coach was treating me like a deviant, so I raised my voice.
気に障ったなら謝ります。
I apologize if I've offended you.
ですからどうか
So
落
please,
ち着いて。
calm down.
俺は絶対に祭りには行っていない。
I definitely didn't go to the festival.
それは本当に間違いないんです。
That's the truth.
分かってます。
I understand.
分かってますからど
どうか落ち着いて深呼吸を。
I understand, so please, calm down, take a deep
あん
breath.
たは全然分かっていない。
No, you don't understand at all. Coach was stunned and stared in stupefaction.
分かっていますよ、前原さん。
I do understand, my Bara-san.
あなたは昨日はお祭りに来なかった。
You didn't go to the festival yesterday.
そうですよね。
Is that right?
私は信じます。
I believe you.
信じますよ。
I believe you. Coach jotted down a brief note in his records. He was writing it in German, so that his patient wouldn't know what it said. You fucker. He knows German? But I can make a good guess as to what he
あ
wrote.
の時間に何をしていたか全部話さないと信じませんか。
You won't believe me until I tell you everything I was doing at the time, will you?
いいえ、信じますから。
No, I believe you.
どうか座ってください。
Please sit down. Before I sat, I tilted my head back a little. Blood in my face all drained out and I quieted down. After taking a deep breath, I made sure I was calm now.
俺が祭りの会場にいることはありえない。
It would have been impossible for me to be at the festival,
なぜならその時間に俺は
because at the time I was... Should I tell him or not? I really didn't want to go on living like this, feeling this horrible. And I said them. Final fatal words.
聡子の王子を殺していたからです。
Because I was killing Sadako's uncle at the time. I could smell the concrete in the room. I could feel the air around us sharpen. Nobody moved. Only the sound of the clock ticking told us time hadn't stopped. With his mouth wide open, Coach even forgot to blink for a little while.
あなたが聡子ちゃんのおじさんを？
You killed Sadako-chan's uncle? Yeah. It's fine now, Kichimabara. Don't hesitate. Admit it, with all your strength.
はい、
Yes,
俺が昨日の夜
last night I did it.
殺しました。
I killed him. I spoke clearly and fluidly. I could easily tell that Coach's mind had gone completely blank.
どうしてそんなことを？
Why would you...
いえ、
No,
それは愚問ですね。
that was a foolish question.
聡子を救う最も直接的な方法だと考えるに至り実行しました。
I believed it was the most direct method of saving Sadako, so I carried it out.
後悔はわずかもありません。
I don't have any regrets.
そうですか。
I see. Huh. Coach smiled thinly and nodded a bit.
だから俺は祭りの会場にいるわけがないんです。
So I couldn't have been at the festival. I left the brightness of my house for the darkness of the outside. After that, I dug holes, made phone calls, and I had my hands full. Then I attacked him, killed him, and buried him. It was pouring hard at the time. The festival started that evening, but was suspended due to the rain. There were no gaps in my memories. From the late afternoon until it started to rain, there was no time for me to possibly have gone to the festival.
その体中の傷はその時に。
And those wounds, are they from that?
そうです。
Yes.
聡子の家を少し行ったところに林道がありますよね。
There's a road through the forest near Sadako's
あそこで
house.
襲い逃げるあいつを追い町に至る一本道で殺すに至りました。
I attacked him there. He ran, but I chased him, and finally killed him near the road that leads to town.
それは本当に？
Is that true? Killing her uncle wasn't some wild fantasy? I could tell that Coach didn't believe me. So I spoke slowly, not letting myself grow excited.
本当です。
It's true.
サトシのバットで殴り殺しました。
I killed him with Satoshi's bat.
そのバットはあいつが乗ってきたバイクと一緒に沼に捨てました。
I threw it and the uncle's motorbike into the swamp.
死体は殺した場所に穴を掘り埋めました。
I dug a hole, killed him, and buried him.
すべて自分が一人でやりました。
I did it all by myself.
聡子ちゃんのおじはバイクで通りかかったんですね。
Sadako-chan's uncle drove past you on a motorbike, did he?
ではあなたはそれを期待して延々と待ち伏せを。
Then you predicted he'd do that and just waited?
あいつが家から出ないことは想定していました。
I assumed he wouldn't be leaving his house that day,
だから電話で適当な嘘を喋ってあいつが出かけるように仕向けました。
so I lied to him over the phone to get him out.
電話で呼び出した。
You called him?
でもあなたの家と聡子ちゃんの家は離れています。
But your house is so far away from Sadako-chan's.
電話をしてからではとても待ち伏せに間に合わないのでは。
I wouldn't think you'd be able to make it there so soon after calling him.
襲撃予定場所から最も近い電話として学校の電話を使いました。
I used a phone close to where I was going to attack him, the one at school.
でも前原さん、
But my Bara-san,
当日は日曜日です。
it was Sunday.
学校には施錠がされていて入れないのでは。
Wouldn't the school have been locked up?
偶然その時営林署の人が中に出入りしたんです。
The forest ranger happened to go inside for a bit.
その隙に入りました。
I slipped in when I had the chance. After that, Coach grilled me on a few different things regarding the incident. He made sure to question me carefully, looking for any contradictions in my account.
信じましょう。
I'll believe you.
あなたが昨日したことは夢とは思えない。
What you did yesterday doesn't seem like a dream. I explained everything, including minor details that only someone who had actually committed the act could explain. I could, of course. It was only yesterday. Coach realized that my story had no expedient coincidences or too convenient details that would have existed in a daydream or a delusion, and finally seemed to want to believe me.
これでもまだ俺が記憶をなくして祭り会場に行ったと思いますか？
So, you still think I went to the festival and lost my memory? Coach slowly shook his head.
でもクラスのみんなが昨日確かに俺が祭りにいたと言います。
But everyone in class, they said I was at the festival yesterday.
そんなことがありえるでしょうか？
Is that even possible?
あるわけがない。
No, it's not.
きっとクラスの皆さんはあなたによく似た誰かとあなたを見間違えたのでしょう。
The classmates probably mistook you for someone who looked very similar.
それに集団心理が働いて皆さんはあなたがお祭りにいたと錯覚してしまっているに違いありません。
Then, given how group psychology works, everyone just assumed that you had been at the festival. Couldn't have mistaken me. Me and all the rest said they were spending time with Keiichi Maibara. There's much more than just having mistaken someone else for me. But saying that out loud would just confuse Coach. He spoke to me in whispered tones.
罪の意識はあるんですか？
Do you feel guilty at all? It didn't sound like he was criticizing me. And even if he had, I would have flatly said the same thing.
ありません。
I don't.
あいつのいなかった平穏な時間を取り戻すために行いました。
I did it so that I could return the peaceful days that he'd stolen from us.
だから俺はあいつを殺したことなんかさっさと忘れてこれまで通りに生活するつもりです。
So I planned to forget all about having killed him and live my life as usual.
あいつが現れる前、聡子がいつも見せてくれたあの笑顔が戻った時、ようやく全ては終わります。
When Sadako's regular smile returns, the one from before he showed up, everything will finally be over.
犯行を誰かに目撃されたということは？
Any chance that someone witnessed the crime?
ないと思います。
I don't think so.
目撃されてれば、もうとっくに逮捕されてるでしょうから。
If someone had seen me, I would have been arrested already.
私は医者です。
I am a doctor.
人の命を救う職にあります。
My job is to save lives.
だから私から人間の命を奪うことを肯定する旨の発言はできません。
So I cannot make any statements to the effect of condoning the taking of another's life.
だから私はあなたにこう言います。
So instead, I will say this. Coach slowly rose and placed a hand on my shoulder.
さとこちゃんを救ってくれて
For saving
ありがとう。
Sadako-chan. Thank you. Coach's eyes started shedding warm tears. When I looked at him, I started to feel some tears of my own. But he's still there! Sadako says he's still there! I didn't know what I was crying for. And so, for a little while, the two men in the room fought back their tears.
でもおかしいんです。
But it's strange.
おかしいとは
What is?
確かに殺したはずなのに、あの男は生きて家に帰ったらしいんです。
I'm sure I killed him, and yet he seems to have returned home alive. Coach's expression immediately sharpened.
状況にもよりますが、気絶や仮死状態など素人が見ると死んだようにしか見えない状態もいくつかあります。
Depending on the situation, there are many ways that mere unconsciousness can look like real death to a layperson.
その可能性は
Do you think it's possible he was just knocked out?
脈を取ったわけではありませんが、確実に仕留めたと思います。
I didn't check for a pulse, but I'm pretty sure I did him in.
前原さんが襲った時の状況を再現してもらってもいいですか？
Can I ask you to reproduce the situation in which you attacked him, my bar-son? Coach rolled up a Health and Fitness Week poster nearby and offered it to me to represent the bat. Though I may have been lost to the emotions of a beast that night, I remembered in detail the number of times I swung the bat, the angles I had swung from, and the force I had applied. Using Coach as a stand-in for the uncle, I reproduced them over, one by one.
そしてあいつが足を取られてよろめいた時、脳天にこう叩きつけました。
And when he tripped and fell, I bashed him in the top of his head like this.
その時、これまでとは違った手応えがありました。
When I did, it felt different from the other strikes.
頭蓋骨が割れたんだと思いました。
Thought I'd cracked his skull. Coach was calmly analyzing this information, using the places I'd struck and the situation at hand, to find out what state the uncle's body had been in.
そして死んだかどうか自信が持てなかったので、倒れた後も何度か殴りつけました。
I wasn't totally sure he was dead, so I hit him a few more times after he fell.
その時の反応は
Did it react at all?
初めは殴るたびに体が跳ねるような感じがありましたが、やがてそれもなくなり、何の反応もなくなりました。
At first, I sort of felt his body jolting with every hit, but eventually that stopped too, and he didn't react at all. Coach folded his arms and said a few times. And then he spoke.
死んでいます。
He's dead.
ほぼ間違いなく。
There's not much doubt about it.
それは仮死状態ではなく、
He didn't just look like he was.
前原さんの話からだけではなかなか判断がつきませんが、ほぼ確実だと思います。
Can't say very much from just your story, my bar-son, but I think it's almost certain.
それに前原さんは死体を泥の中に埋め、結構な時間をかけて埋めていますよね。
Besides, you buried the corpse in the mud, and that took you quite a bit of time, right?
仮に30分で埋めたとして、
Let's say it took you 30 minutes.
その男は30分間も泥水に沈められていたことになります。
That would mean he was buried under the muddy water for those 30 minutes.
それだけの時間、呼吸が止められたら確実に脳死します。
If you don't breathe for that long, your brain will die no matter what.
殴った強さ以前に埋める過程で確実に絶命したと。
You mean, even ignoring how hard I hit him, he would definitely have died while I was burying him?
そういうことです。
That's right.
30分間、泥に埋められていて、生きていられる人などありえません。
It's impossible to stay alive buried underground for 30 minutes.
ありえないですよね。
Impossible. You're right.
でも
But,
サトコは生きてると。
Sadako, she says he's alive. Coach, a doctor, just gave a stamp of approval that he was dead for sure. That made it all seem all the more unfair that he could still be among the living.
前原さん、
Maibara-san,
これはとても恐ろしい想像なのですが、
this is a really horrible idea, but
前原さんが殺した相手が、叔父でなく別人である可能性は。
is it possible that the person you killed wasn't actually her uncle?
え
Huh? He's right. That could be why. Cleared up the inconsistency of my definitely having killed someone, but him still being alive.
そんなはずはない。
There's no way!
だってほら、監督と一緒にサトコの家の前で酒瓶の袋を運んだ時、窓から顔を出した男がいたじゃないですか。
I mean, we were both at Sadako's house when she was bringing his alcohol inside, and there was a man who stuck his face out the window to look.
あいつですよね。
It was him, right?
サトコのおじは。
That was Sadako's uncle, right?
ええ、
Yes.
間違いありませんよ。
You're not wrong.
あの男です。
It was that man.
実はもう一人おじがいるなんてことは。
Could she have had more than one uncle or something?
聞いたことがありません。
Not one that I've ever heard of.
あの男だけです。
It's just him.
あいつの特徴を教えてもらえますか。
Could you tell me what he looked like?
まず身長がですね、
Well, his height first.
175、もう少しあるかもしれません。
He was about 175 centimeters, maybe a little taller. In order to eliminate the worst possibility that I'd killed someone else, Coach began to thoroughly compare what the man in his mind looked like with what I told him the person I killed looked like. But no matter how in-depth my description went, none of the characteristics differed. The uncle's traits, according to Coach, were all exactly the same as the person I'd killed. Those traits were all extremely vague, and they weren't particularly distinct at a glance.
もっとこう絶対にあいつだと識別できる特徴はありませんか。
Well, is there anything else about him that would let us identify him for sure?
そういえば、私は見たことありませんが、
Now that you mention it, I've never seen it, but
さとこちゃんが昔、背中に虎だかなんだかの入れ墨がある、なんて言っていたような気がします。
I believe Sadako-chan once said a long time ago that he had a tattoo of a tiger or something on his back.
入れ墨。
A tattoo? That was really important. Not everyone had a tattoo. If I found a tiger tattoo on the back of the man's corpse, it would be proof I'd killed the right one. At the moment, though, there was one other thing that would verify this. To go to Sadako's house and see for myself the uncle that had returned home despite having died. But it was far more terrifying than digging up the body and looking at its back. Without even looking at the tattoo, I knew for sure the one I'd killed had been Sadako's uncle. I cracked his head open and killed him. And yet, he'd gone back home. There wasn't any misunderstanding, or even the shadow of a doubt in my mind about having killed him. And yet, it was impossible for him to exist. Kind of like how Keiichi Maibara had been at the festival, despite it being impossible. That small commonality made me feel as though a faint but bizarre force was permeating this insane Hinamizawa.
一体どういうことなのでしょう。
I wonder what on earth could have happened.
前原さんはお祭りには行かず、聡子ちゃんのおじさんを殺していたにもかかわらず、
Despite you not going to the festival and killing Sadako-chan's uncle,
お祭りにはあなたがいて、そして殺したはずのおじさんも生きている。
you were at the festival. The uncle you killed is alive.
何がなんだかさっぱりわからないです。
None of this makes any sense.
そうやって整理して言うと、まるで俺が悪い夢を見ていて、実は殺人なんて存在しなかったんじゃないかと思えてしまう。
When I look at everything that way, it's almost like I'm just having a nightmare. There's no killer at all.
でも事実なんです。
But it's the truth.
この手でバットでガツンガツンと殴ったあの感触は絶対に夢や幻なんかじゃないんです。
Sensation as I used my own hands and that bat to bash him again and again. There's no illusion or dream. Coach let out a slow sigh, then after looking at the clock got up.
ちょっとこの話、もう少し真剣にやりましょう。
Let's go over this all a little more seriously.
ちょっと失礼して、紅茶でも入れてきてあげます。
If you'll excuse me, I'll go put on some tea.
診療所も終わりの時間ですからね。
Clinic's about to close after all.
ジムの方とかも返してあげないと。
I need to let the other employees leave. Coach stood up and went out into the hallway, leaving me alone. The clock was about to strike 6. I was at the festival, and the uncle I'd killed was alive. Had I really committed murder yesterday? The only whisper of fact that proved it happened was the absence of that bat from Satoshi's locker. In any case, I was glad that Coach had taken my nonsense seriously. I just confessed to murder. Normally that would frighten a person away. But Coach didn't run. He cried with me. I was glad he did. Like so, my tension smoothly melted away, and I suddenly realized I really had to urinate. I thought to use the restroom while Coach had stepped out. There was one across from the waiting room. As soon as I left the room, I saw Coach and 2 male doctors wearing white clothing standing in the shadows of the hallway nearby. I didn't particularly intend to eavesdrop or anything. I was quite surprised upon noticing how uneasy they seemed. I hid behind the wall and quietly listened in. Seemed like Coach was giving directions to the 2 doctors.
紅茶ですね。
Black tea?
用意します。
I'll make some.
睡眠導入剤を入れて、種類は任せます。
Mix in the sedative you think best for the occasion.
味はミルクと砂糖でごまかしてください。
Cover the taste with milk and sugar.
急激な眠気に不信感を抱く可能性もあります。
You may grow suspicious at the sudden onset of drowsiness.
興奮状態に陥って暴れ出す可能性も。
It's possible we may get agitated and become violent.
その場合は取り押さえましょう。
We will handle that.
男性スタッフはまだ何人か残ってますか？
How many male staff are still here?
山犬が1人、
One mountain dog,
それに私たちを含めて3人です。
including us 3. What was all this? I think I was already agitated despite what Coach said. Was that it? Was it just a casual conversation? It was only sounding unbelievable to me? Coach said he would bring some black tea and left the room. Then, in the shadows, he was telling his subordinates to put some kind of sleeping powder in the tea? Plus, they were getting extra help, in case I thought the sudden sleepiness was suspicious and started getting violent. Hey, wait, Keiichi Maibara. Calm down, calm down. There's no way something this stupid could be happening. I mean, he was genuinely listening to my story, and he even cried with me. I thought he was the one person in Himizawa who would understand. This was... No, this was...
作り話か虚言の兆候があり、特に昨日の記憶が完全に混乱。
There are signs of fabrications or falsehoods, and his memories of yesterday in particular are completely confused.
虚実の区別の喪失。
He can no longer tell truth from falsehood.
多重人格等の精神障害に酷似しています。
It's quite similar to multiple personality disorder.
でも、こんな急激な精神障害の発症は普通では考えられません。
But as for how quickly this mental disorder emerged, it's just not normal.
あるいは先天的、もしくは引っ越し前からそういう兆候があったのか。
Maybe it's inborn. Perhaps there were signs of it before he moved here.
引っ越し前に精神科に通院例がないか調べたいところです。
I'd like to take a look at any records of him staying at a mental hospital before he moved here.
とにかく前原さんには穏便にお休みいただきます。
In any case, I want him to take a quiet nap. The two doctors nodded deeply.
前原さんのご両親にも連絡しておいた方が良いですね。
I should probably contact my Barakun's parents too,
何と言えばいいか言葉が思いつきませんが、
though I can't think of what to tell them.
彼の自宅の電話番号を調べてください。
Please find his home phone number for me. My eyes, still moist, began to shed tears once more. This was too cruel. I really thought he'd actually understood and believed what I told him. Now, from the other side of that wall, he was bluntly treating me like a crazy person. I believed you. I believed you. I had let down my guard, because I thought you were the only ally I had left after that insane night. Was that a lie? All that about thanking me on Sadako's behalf. You just pretending in order to keep me placated? My tears fell to the floor in frustration. I was an idiot. I was an idiot. I was such an idiot for believing that bastard. I heard footsteps approaching the doctors. A man in a dress shirt with no tie came running up.
入江先生、
Dr. Erie,
大変です。
it's terrible.
高野さんが見つかりました。
They found Takano-san.
高野さんが
Takano-san?
一体どこに？
Wait, where?
それが
Well,
山中で焼死体で発見されたらしく、
apparently they discovered her burned corpse in the mountains in Gifu.
死んだ？
She's dead?
高野さんが
Takano-san? The men, all surprised, exchanged glances. Dead? Takano-san? Hey, wait. So then, does that mean when I cursed her, wishing for her death, that wish was granted?
焼死とは一体どういうことですか？
You mean burned corpse?
それは事故ですか？
Was it an accident?
県警の発表では他殺の可能性が極めて高いと。
According to the statement from the prefectural police department, the possibility is extremely high that she was murdered. As I cried, I laughed quietly. Serves you right. Serves you right. If I hadn't run into that woman, my murder would have been perfect. She had to come driving up to me, tried to coerce me like that. I regretted not having killed her on the spot. I know she was dead anyway. My curse, my wish for her demise, was fulfilled. Serves you right. Serves you right.
リサさんが死に、高野さんが死に、
Risa-san died. Takano-san died.
一体ひなみ沢には何が起こっているというんですか？
What on earth could be happening in Hinamizawa?
まさかこれが今年のお社様のたたりだなんて言うんじゃないでしょうね。
Don't tell me. This was all Yoshiro-sama's curse for this year. Like hell I'll let the curse be real, Coach said. Everyone present just nodded as Coach cursed at no one in particular. Yes, maybe it wasn't Oyashiro-sama. It was definitely a spell. Curse. I wished for her to die. So she did. If this wasn't just a coincidence, and she died because I wished for it, then you'll die next, Coach. You betrayed me. You pretended to believe me, but deep down you thought I was a madman. You looked down at me with all that pity in your eyes.
ではとりあえず紅茶の準備を。
For now, get the black tea ready.
紅茶は私が持って入ります。私以外には彼は心を許さないようですからね。
I'll bring it inside. I don't think he'd let anyone besides me be alone with him. Shit, shit, shit. What do I do? What do I do, Kichimabara? This time I heard the voice of a nurse.
入江先生。
Dr. Erie?
あ、いらっしゃいましたか。
Oh, there you are.
お電話です。
You have a phone call.
今ちょっと忙しいので後でかけ直すと伝えてください。
I'm a little busy at the moment, so please tell them I'll call back.
誰からです？
Who's it from?
沖宮警察の大石様ですけど。
Mr. Uishi from the Okinomiya Police Department.
ちゃ悪いタイミングですね。
Ah, sheesh, bad timing.
出ます出ます。
Alright, I'll answer it. Coach left to go answer the phone. The other men headed towards the room with the teapot to make the black tea, like Coach had ordered them to. Fortunately, Coach having to take that phone call meant there would be extra time for me to act. I had to decide what to do now. Would I let him make me drink the sedative-infused tea? Be held down and thrown into a mental hospital? Nothing would come from starting a brawl here. They had more people anyway, and they were all bigger than me. If it came to a fight, I didn't stand a chance in hell. If I couldn't win against them, there was only one thing left to do. Run. Adrenaline suddenly rushed into my brain, and my body started to move with keen instinct like it had on that night. My surface temperature quickly cooled, and the transition ruts between my cells enlarged. Using 360-degree visual information, I searched for an escape route. I would open the window behind me. Outside was a parking lot. There were no cars. A little beyond there was the bicycle I had taken to get here. I determined that this would be the quickest method of escape. I approached the window swiftly, but with little sound, to raise as little suspicion as I could. With the speed and silence of a shadow, like I'd had on the night I chased her uncle. I unlocked the window and opened it up. A cool evening breeze wafted in. I stuck my head out and looked over the parking lot again. Nobody in sight. No need to hesitate. I quietly crawled outside and closed the window behind me. I held my breath and listened carefully. Nobody seemed to have realized I'd run. I looked around. Then I jumped on my bicycle and zoomed away. We didn't get the bill. Ren is gonna kill us. The pedals clattered under the force. Had my bike always creaked like this? Did the pedals always whine every time I pushed down on them? My bike wasn't the only one crying, though. My tears fell as the wind cut through them. They rode the breeze and scattered behind me. I hate this. I hate this! I'm not the crazy one. Himizawa is. How dare you treat me like a madman? Die. Die. Just fucking die already. I believed you. I believed you. I'd gone to the hospital in order to escape Ren and Mion's invitation. But the reality that was waiting for me had been too cruel. Who was insane? Me or Hinamizawa? Or was the answer something else? I started having trouble breathing. I didn't have any clue what was happening anymore. The loud chirps of the Higurashi were irritating me. Were even the Hinamizawa Higurashi I knew so well calling into the wind? No, that wasn't quite it. They weren't calling. They were crying. The pained wailing of those lost in some kind of rhythm, another world, no longer able to return to their own sunlight. I didn't do all that to end up in a world like that. And actually, at about this time, I might have been having fun with everyone else. Sadako would have gotten her smile back after realizing her uncle would never come home. She might have shown it to us at our first club meeting in a while. That was the kind of world I wished for. So what was this? Why did I end up in such a strange, ghastly world? Someone I'd killed was living like normal, and I enjoyed myself at the festival despite not being there. I don't want it. I don't want this strange world. When did it start to go wrong? When? When? No matter how much I thought about it, I never understood. I rode swiftly and returned to my home. It had begun to rain during my journey back, and just like yesterday, I was now soaked. But I didn't care about something so trivial right now. The pain I felt in my heart that Coach, the one person I trusted, was acting so cruelly was far worse. But I have no allies in Hinamizawa anymore. With the naive thought that I at least wanted my parents to side with me, I stepped up to the front door. Wait, Keiichi. It'll be dark soon. Something you want to check, right? Yes. I wanted to dig up the man's corpse and get a look at his back. If there was a tiger tattoo there, I would know beyond a doubt he was Sadako's uncle. That long night wouldn't end until I was certain. If this insane world was all reparation, all a divine punishment, then I needed to make certain whether I'd been successful enough to even deserve to pay that price. I went to the storage room again and got the shovel. It had been washed in the rain, but the paint was peeling, making it look unsightly. I never ever wanted to touch this thing again. The sensation of it in my hands was totally different from the night before. There was a ruthless coldness about it. Yeah. It would be dark soon, so I need the lantern too. There would be a little bit of light from the street lights, but it would get extremely dark. I thought I'd put the lantern here, but I suddenly noticed it wasn't anywhere to be found. Then it hit me like a bolt of lightning. Of course. On that night, I hadn't brought the lantern back with me. I'd left it at the place I buried the body. If I didn't go to get it soon, it would get very dark. And then, not only would I be unable to find the spot I'd buried the corpse, but I wouldn't even be able to find the lantern itself. If that happened, it was all over.
急ごう。
Need to hurry. In order to fit the shovel in the basket on the front of my bike, I'd need to twist it and disassemble it. But it looked like there was dirt in the joints, and no matter how hard I pushed, it didn't want to come apart. After a strenuous effort, I realized I couldn't get it apart, so I decided to hold it in one hand and ride my bike with the other. Oh, we're doing this again. So much fucking deja vu, I'll tell you what. With the downpour soaking me through, and a shovel in one hand, and riding one-handed, it was as if I'd returned to that night. No, return was the wrong word. It was more like that night had never ended. The pain of the raindrops striking me were no different from then. The thing that was different was Hinamizawa. The world, and nothing else. The rain clouds were already making it dark, and now was about time for the sun to set. I could tell it would only get rapidly darker. Straight road leading to town. In the middle of it. That should be where I buried it. Yes. It was near that street light. On that night, too, the water from the downpour was splashing down from the streetlight's overhang like a waterfall. The pouring rain was exactly the same as it had been that night, unless it brought my memories into focus. I left my bike in the brush and stepped into the forest, the ground already soaked in mud. Where had I buried him? Think. The darkness, the shadows, the water, the mud. Everything was the same. Think. And then I spotted the lantern by a fallen, moss-covered tree. That's right, I left it right there. If I left a lantern here, then I would have buried him over here. With the sensation of standing in the sludge, my feet remembered the spot better than my eyes did. I plunged my shovel into the ground. It's hard. It isn't here. I just dug it up, so it should have been softer. I stick my shovel down in a few spots to test what they feel like. One of them clearly felt deeper. I recalled where the lantern was, where the trees and things were in relation to each other, and knew that it had to be here. Under here slept that man's corpse. There would definitely be the tattoo of a tiger on his back. But if it wasn't there, then I had made a horrible mistake. Killed someone completely unrelated instead. I'd be more dazed at the fact that Sadako's uncle wasn't dead, and I would regret having gotten someone else mixed up in this. This insane world was punishment for the sin of committing murder. I wouldn't be able to accept it until I'd killed Sadako's uncle for good. And then, without any fear, I'd attack him again. And that time, I would kill him for sure. But what if the tattoo was there? That would mean I'd killed Sadako's uncle. But that would be terribly strange. I'd killed him for sure. And who was the uncle at Sadako's house this very moment? Impossible. I didn't even know anymore what I was using the word impossible to refer to. I've used the word quite a few times today. If I had to make the words impossible fit just one thing, what would it be? That much was obvious to me.
こんなおかしな世界がありえてたまるかよ。
It'd be impossible for this crazy world to be real. I shouted, then turned behind me. There's nobody there, of course. It hadn't been bothering me for a while. Those footsteps had followed me this entire day. Even just now, an extra set of footsteps had splashed behind me. No one was actually there. No indications of anyone even. But they were there.
あんたは誰だ？
Who are you?
俺がこっちの世界に来てからずっとついてくるな。
You've been following me ever since I came to this world. That's right. Thinking back, first time I heard those footsteps was after Takano-san and I had parted. Those footsteps were my welcome into this strange inside-out world. No one could be there. I'd get no response. Whoever it was, they just kept staring at me. It wasn't ominous, just unpleasant. After staring into empty space for a bit, as I bathed in the rain, my illogical anger slipped away. My tension loosened, and a tired feeling reared its head. I tasted this feeling that night, too. The sudden exhaustion I felt as the tension in my brain loosened. My vision quickly narrowed, and I felt like everything around me had suddenly gotten darker. Couldn't give in to this sensation. I would light what little explosives were left in my brain and force myself to keep going. I needed to dig that man up, or my stamina ran out. I needed to see the tattoo on his back. I caught my suddenly ragged breath and calmed down. Then I stuck the shovel into the soft, muddy ground again. Felt exactly the same as that night. The sense of digging a hole in the beach, with water coming into it with every wave. What day was today? Had I gone back to the night of Watsunagashi? Every strange thought that came to mind tormented me. Given my exhaustion, I didn't think I could manage to hold those thoughts back. Once the hole was deep, all illumination finally faded, blanketing my vision in jet black. It was probably the moment the sun had fully set, too. That night, I had feared the worst and gone without using much light. My senses were so strange that I could see even in that darkness. But now I didn't have that kind of strength left. I drained everything I had last night, and now the darkness would be lethal. I decided to turn on the lantern. Putting it on the first setting would make it give off a faint light. Even with how little there was, it was enough, and people wouldn't be able to see it from far away in this rain. I grabbed the chilled lantern, turned the dial with a click, set it to the weakest light setting, and turned it on. An uncanny world of silhouettes appeared before me. A complex and strange shadowy world created by the intricate entanglement of trees and branches. I'd only turned on a light, and it was like it was all it took to make the world into something else. I let out a quick, tired breath and wiped the liquid, neither rain nor sweat, from my brow. Then I raised the shovel into the air and slammed it in the mud. That moment, the silhouettes surrounding me ominously all moved at once. Inside my head, something packed in there, something coarse but not hot or cold, was loudly rushing about. The silhouettes were all around me, looking down at me. And one of them, a silhouette bigger than the others, stepped forward. Oh!
こんばんは。
Good evening.
月の綺麗な晩ですね。
Moon sure is beautiful tonight. The coarseness in my brain shot through my whole spine and left me at my waist. The strength of my body all left me through my hips, and I crouched down with a splash into the sea of mud I dug myself.
おいし
Oishi.
目上の人にはその後に3もつけるとなおよろしいかと思いますよ。
Is that really how you address your elders?
そうでないと大人になってからいろいろと苦労します。
You'll have a rough time of it once you become an adult. Man, I did want to see you, but this is the worst time. It wasn't only Uishi, but 5 or 6 of them in a row, men wearing raincoats. I had no inkling that this many people had gotten so close. We are so fucked. No, they're here! It was like, once I turned on the lantern, they just appeared there, sliding out of the shadows.
どうぞ私たちのことは気にしないでください。
Please, don't mind us.
森の木立だとでも思って。
Just think of us as trees in the forest, perhaps. Don't mind them?
そうです。
Yes.
私たちのことは気にされず、どうぞ穴掘りをお続けになってください。
Pay no attention to us. Please, continue digging your hole.
こんな時間にこんな土砂降りの中で、
It's very late and raining very hard.
そんなにも真剣にやっているんですからね。
And you're working pretty fervently.
邪魔なんかしませんよ。
We won't get in your way.
心ゆくまで掘っちゃってください。
Please, dig to your heart's content. No, thank you, I said. When I tried to get up and turn around, 2 men blocked that route. They stood on either side of me and lifted me up with amazing strength, then threw me into the sea of mud. As I soaked in the mud bath I dug for myself, I looked up at the silhouettes looking down at me. Uishi squatted, picked up my shovel, and threw it at my feet for me. It bounced loudly off the mud and hit me in the face.
ほら、
Come,
続きをどうぞ。
please, continue.
続きを。
Continue. I couldn't bear the oppressiveness of the silhouettes surrounding me, and slowly I stuck the shovel into the mud again. Felt like I was digging my own grave. If I kept digging, it wouldn't matter whether there was a tattoo or not, because that man's corpse would appear eventually. It was all over. Surrounded on all sides, and nowhere to go. But I just couldn't figure it out, no matter how much I thought about it. Why were they here? Was it Takano-san? There's only one person who could have made the connection between me and this place. Shit, I knew it. She deserved to die.
手が休んでますよ。
Stopping so soon? Bam. Luigi kicked me in the back, which took me by surprise, sending me flying into the mud.
ちゃっちゃと掘っちゃってくださいよ。
Hurry up and dig, please.
雨の中で待たされる方の身にもなってほしいもんです。
You really should consider the fact that some of us are standing out here in the rain.
くそ
Fuck you.
そんなに雨が嫌なら帰ればいいだろう
If you don't like the rain, then just go home. Luigi kicked some mud in my face.
口より先に手を動かしてください。
Use your hands, please, not your mouth.
口と手を一緒に動かすのは落語家だけ。
Only stage actors do both at once.
ね
Isn't that right, boys? The men around him didn't react, not knowing quite whether they should laugh. But when Uishi glared at them, they started mumbling out pained chuckles. Just who was this guy? I knew the world had changed after that night. If I went even further back, didn't it start when this guy showed up? That was when our peaceful days had been taken from us. Ever since he showed up in Hinamizawa, things have been odd. Everyone stopped smiling, and the world went crazy. The ground under my feet gradually got harder and heavier. At this point, even I started to think something was odd. I hadn't buried him this deep on that night, had I? My exhaustion peaked and I sat down on the spot.
いつまで掘ればいいんだよ。
How long do you want me to dig?
最近の若い人は体力がありませんね。
Kids these days have no stamina.
おい、
Hey, you. At Uishi's gesture, the men all pulled out their own sinister-looking shovels. As I watched a daze, one of them grabbed my collar, dragged me out of the hole, and threw me to the ground. The rest of the men stepped into the hole I dug and started shoveling themselves. As I stared at them dumbfounded, Uishi sauntered over and squatted down to look at me directly.
前原圭一さん。
Keiichi Mibara-san.
あなたの趣味は雨の夜の穴掘りですかな。
Is this a hobby of yours? Digging holes on rainy nights? When I didn't respond, Uishi took one of the tin buckets they were using to bail out the muddy water, scooped up some of it, and splashed the whole thing in my face. The rain's heavy today, too.
これ以上いくら濡れても全然わかりませんね。
No matter how wet I get, I still don't get the appeal. Uishi smiled to himself and scooped up another bucket full of muddy water.
もう一回聞きますよ。
I'll ask you again.
あなたの趣味は雨の夜の穴掘りですかな。
Is digging holes on rainy nights your hobby?
そんな趣味のやついるもんか。
Who the hell would have a hobby like that? Splash. Uishi hit me with another bucket full of muddy water. The pebbles in it stung.
あの穴を掘ると何が出てくるんですかな。
Will there be something in that hole?
私、花坂じいさんのここ掘れワンワンってのが昔から憧れでしてね。
I've always liked that story, you know. About the old man who could make plants bloom and the puppy digging in his yard for gold. As he spoke, he ran the bucket through the muddy water again. Splashed it in my face again.
あそこにどんな宝物が埋まってるんですかね。
What kind of treasure is buried down there, hmm?
私にちょっとだけでも教えてくれませんか。
Can't you at least give me a hint? If you want to know, then dig on your own time. Fucking pig. I wasn't saying that out loud, but Uishi mercilessly drenched me in muddy water again anyway. Shit, shit, shit. Only you hadn't shown up, the world wouldn't have gone wrong. Ever since you showed up, things have been strange. Sadako got abused by her uncle, ended up killing him, and the world went crazy. He was how it all began. Because of this culprit. He splashed another bucket of mud in my face. My insides are seething with anger. Die, you. You die too. I have some strange power to kill someone by cursing them, like with Takano-san, then you're dead. It won't be Oyashiro-sama's curse. It'll be mine. I'll curse you and kill you.
反抗的な目つきですね。
What a rebellious look you're wearing.
これを機に少しそのあたりをお勉強してしまいましょうか。
Why don't we use this opportunity to teach you a thing or two in that regard?
今は平和な時代ですがね。
We really do live in peace these days.
私があなたくらいだった頃は何でも鉄拳制裁が普通でして。
When I was about your age, corporal punishment was the norm for everything.
大石さん、
Uishi-san. One of the digging men in raincoats wiped some sweat off and called Uishi over. Uishi tossed the bucket away, then turned around with an evil grin on his face.
はいはい、何でしょうか?
Yes, what is it?
これを見てください。
Please, look at this. Acceptance, or maybe resignation. I wanted to say to them, see blockheads finally found it. Yeah, that's right, I'm the one who killed him. You're the police, so it's your own job to figure out who he is, right? Come on, prove to me that he's really Sadako's uncle.
何ですかこりゃ?
What on earth?
ただ古い排水管ではないかと。
You think it's an old drain pipe.
あそこの用水路につながっているようです。
Seems to be connected to the irrigation channel over there.
ぶっ壊しちゃいましょうか?
Let's smash the thing.
どうせ使ってない缶でしょ?
It's not being used, is it? The men all exchanged glances, then hesitantly broached another topic.
大石さ
Uishi-san,
ん、もうかなり手応えが硬いです。
the ground down there is pretty hard.
これより深くってことはありえないと思います。
I don't think anything could be deeper than this.
掘る場所を間違えました?
Did we get the location wrong?
いえ、初めのうちは明らかに掘り返す感触でした。
No. At first, it definitely felt like the place had been dug up before.
ですが、このくらいを掘った頃から急に硬くなりまして、
But after digging so far, the ground suddenly hardened.
多分もともと掘った穴よりも深く掘り進んだのだと思います。
We think we've gone down further than the hole that was originally dug.
じゃあつまり何ですか?
So, what does that mean?
ここには穴があって何もなくただそのまま埋め直されたと
There was a hole here and someone filled it back up?
皆さんそうおっしゃるわけで?
Is that what you're trying to tell me? What? What were they talking about?
こりゃ参ったな.
Well, well, I'm at a loss.
ね
Aren't you,
え前原さん.
Maibara-san? Uishi grabbed my collar and dragged me to the huge hole they dug. The mud inside was like an ocean, and I couldn't see any drain pipe down there. One of the men stirred it with a shovel, letting me hear it clang against something hard. There was no doubt I'd buried him right here. But I hadn't buried him this deep. I didn't dig deep enough to unearth an entire drain pipe. So, then, this man, his corpse, where was it? Proof that I'd been successful on that night. It's gone. Gone. Then what on earth was I? Was I actually crazy after all? And just possessed by the delusion that I'd killed someone? That couldn't be. It was the unmistakable truth. Couldn't have been a hallucination. But now, the most important evidence that it hadn't been an illusion was gone. Killed him. They buried him. I had absolute, unwavering confidence in that fact. Then, did I fail to kill him? After I left, had he started breathing again, crawled out and gone back to Sadako's house? Was that it? I had come here to see if he had a tattoo or not. Yet the truth I unearthed was far more than that. Yesterday, what was I killed him. I buried him. There was no doubt. But for some reason, he lived and crawled back out. And that was impossible, too. I'm so tired of hearing the word impossible over and over. I get it. Dead people don't like to play by the rules here in Hinamizawa. Then I'll kill you as many times as I need to. Keep killing you, so you never show your face to Sadako again. Uishi and the others were muttering to each other. Eventually, their conversation ended, and Uishi came towards me. What did he want to say? What did he want to do? I stiffened, tensing up, and then Uishi just ignored me like I wasn't even there and passed right by me. The other men too. They ignored me and shuffled away. Eventually, there was no longer a sign that anyone was around, and I returned to my quiet world of silhouettes. The only one left there was me. Only the sound of the pouring rain filled up the silence. What the fuck? What the fuck? Oh my god, man. What the fuck? Gone. Fuck you! Let's view these tips. Inquiry request. Okinomiya Police Station Command Center Transmission Recording. June 20th, 8:08 p.m.
こちら沖宮 PS 感度良好です。
This is Okinomiya Police Station. We read you loud and clear.
車両ナンバー紹介をお願いします。獅子骨歯の4344。
Hello, we'd like you to look up a license plate for us. Shishibone, H4344.
副将、獅子骨、歯の4344。少々お時間もらえますがよろしいですか？
Shishibone, H4344. Alright. Please just give us a moment to look it up.
お願いします。
Thank you. Number match. Shishibone, H4344. Owner, blank blank. Address, blank. Hinamizawa Village, Shishibone. Vehicle make and model, blank. Theft reports, none. Special mentions, nothing of note.
沖宮 PS より大石社どうぞ。先ほどのナンバーが判明しました。
Look at me as security police to Uishi. We found the license plate from earlier.
大石社どうぞ。
Uishi, do you read?
大石社、応答願います。
Uishi, please respond.
あれ？電波悪いのかな？
Am I getting a bad signal?
大石社、応答願。
Anyone in Uishi's car, please read.
出ませんね。
Nothing, eh?
大石さんが車両紹介？誰の車だよ。
Uishi-san wanted a license plate check? Whose car was it?
村人の車ですね。至って平凡な。
Someone from the village. Completely average car.
何者だよ。大石さんが聞いてくるからにはただ者じゃないんだろ。
Who was it? If Uishi-san was asking, then it can't be anyone good, right?
突起事項欄は完全に空欄ですね。S 号指定もなし。
The special mentions column is completely blank. No indications related to the S group either.
減点もなしだし。
And no demerits on it.
パッシングでもされて腹が立ったんじゃないの？あの人、根に持つとなかなか忘れないタイプなんだよ。
Maybe it passed him on the road and he got mad. That guy isn't the type to forget a grudge. Record of malice. He said it smelled. He said the food smelled. He said it smelled because I smelled. He said I smelled because I don't take baths. He said to take a bath 3 times a day because I was a smelly person. He said I had to stay in the bath for a long time every time. He must be possessed by something too. This is the same thing the man who died said. Why does he know what that man said before? That much is obvious. The same thing that possessed that man is now possessing him. Can't a sudden earthquake make a big hole in front of the house? If it did, he would definitely go and look into it. And then I just have to push him in. I won't give in until I get that chance. I won't give in. I won't cry. I won't give in. I won't cry. Ah, someone is apologizing again. That's weird. What the fuck is happening? Okay. Well, let's save, huh? Yeah, let's save. Yeah, we don't got time for that, Keiichi. We're gonna have to go to the ending screen. And we gotta chat, guys. I feel so scared. I need to get some music. I'm getting the Little Big Planet soundtrack. Oh, right, my keyboard got unplugged. Hang on. I don't even know where the fuck to begin. Fucking... Okay, like, we have a lot to talk about, right? Like... Shit's going down. That much is certain. Hang on while I have to re-plug in my... Ugh. Does that USB port just not work? Oh my god, bruh. My USB ports are crapping out on me. Come on, bruh. I need a keyboard. Well, the mouse works. The keyboard doesn't. My keyboard just stopped working? Really? Are we gonna do this? Or is it... Because I plugged it into 2 different ports. What if I plug it in this one? I'm gonna be so mad. I think my keyboard has stopped working. I think my keyboard died on this stream. I am keyboardless. Well, shit. Let's put this on. No, my keyboard, I think, is just dead. It's crapped out on me. It's been acting up for a while now, and I think it finally died. What the fuck? Whatever. Oh, haven't heard this one in a while, have we? The game might actually be haunted. Holy shit. Okay. So, let's work it out here. Apparently, I was at the festival. Even though I totally wasn't. And I killed Sadako's uncle. Except I guess I didn't. Because there was nothing in that hole. There's a drain pipe under it. And he's apparently alive. I mean, I haven't seen it with my own eyes, but Sadako said so. We got Rena and Mion acting creepy, which it's always them. Eerie tried to, you know, sedate us because he thinks we're crazy. Which, I don't know, are we? Are we? I don't know anymore. But that Keiichi that supposedly was at the festival, like, did a lot of things I remember Keiichi doing in previous chapters when he went to the festival. But, He apparently was first spotted at the ritual storehouse, which is not great. That scares me. That makes me think there's some demon shit happening. Also, I really want to talk about those tips that we read, because those were interesting. The first one was Uishi asking for a plate number, and then he just doesn't get back to the officer, which is weird. I guess something suddenly distracts him, or something happens to him. I don't know. And then the second one, fucking Record of Malice. It seems to me like that one is from Sadako's perspective, because it's like she's talking about this figure, a male figure, I think it was, berating the narrator. I'm just gonna say. Saying, oh, I'm smelly, I gotta bathe 3 times a day. And then they talk about, that's what the dead guy said. How does he know what the dead guy knew? Like, huh? So wait, huh? That to me reads like, if it's Sadako's perspective, she knows he's supposed to be dead. And yet he's not. What is happening? I'm at a loss, man. Man, yeah, I don't know. Fuck me.